Here's a question for you. What do you consider old? 40? 60? 100? Depending on your age, the answer probably varies. AARP asked the millennials what they think old is. Take a look at this.
What age do you consider to be old?
Late 40s?
Maybe 50?
I feel like 30 is a new 20, so I'd say like 40 is old.
I'd probably say 50s.
I'd like you to show me how an old person would cross the street.
Oh, you're killing me here. Now check out what happened when these young people went in thinking one thing about aging and came out thinking something very different.
I'm Daphne, and I'm 68.
Hello, I'm Birch. I'm 66.
I'm Dee, and I'm 55.
George Fastbinder, 75.
Wow.
Teach each other something that you are good at.
I can teach you a jump that I do.
Okay, please. 1, 2, 3.
When you come out of a turn, either way.
Now, you bring your legs and your feet up. It's hard, right?
Yeah.
You want to try to get your balance and raise up.
Oh, man. I so love that. Joining me to discuss age bias is the CEO of AARP, Ann Jenkins. So welcome.
Great. Pleasure.
Welcome.
Pleasure.
So do you think it's primarily young people that have a misconception about what's considered old?
Oh, absolutely not. I think ageism is ageless, and that you can be old at 35 or young at 70. It just depends on the mindset that you have.
Well, in the audience, I'd like you to meet 65-year-old Dottie.
Hi.
So what age biases have you encountered?
People seem to think that someone my age should sit at home and knit sweaters and bake cookies, but I really like an adrenaline rush.
How do you get that rush?
Well, skydiving, paragliding, flying. Probably my biggest adventure was that bungee jump in New Zealand where I jumped 440 feet tied by my ankles.
You jumped 440 feet with bungee cord tied to your ankle?
Yep.
I don't want to party with you. All right, so thanks. So, Joanne, your best-selling book is Disrupt Aging, and it was released last year.
Thank you.
Why is it important to challenge these outdated beliefs about aging?
Well, our research tells us that if a 10-year-old born today in the U.S. has a 50% chance of living to be 104.
Did y'all get that? A 10-year-old that's born now has a 50% chance of living to 104?
And so we're going to have to recreate a 100-year life and think about the implications of that on education, on work, on relationships, on savings for retirement, on your whole health, wealth, self spectrum. It's not just about tacking 15 or 20 years onto the end of your life.
Because I can tell you that your attitude about age when you're young affects your health when you're older. So you can't be a Johnny-come-lately to this.
In fact, we know that if you have a positive outlook on living longer, you're likely to live to be 7 years longer than if you had a negative attitude on aging. So Dottie is in good shape.
Yeah. I've read this book cover to cover, and I did some math, and I want you guys to think about this. If you're 40 years old, you've lived 14,600 days. If you are 104, you're going to live 37,960 days. Now think about this. If you're 40 and you're headed to 104, you got 64 years left in your life. I mean, you got to really have a different attitude about this. The world's got to have a different attitude about it.
You showed the video, but what if we moved middle age to 65? How would that change our outlook on life? Because it's exactly right that at 40, you could live another 60 years. And have you taken care of yourself physically and mentally in terms of the way you eat and exercise? And have you started planning financially to be in that post-retirement age for what could be 40 years?
And you say we've got to fight not just against aging, but against the ageist attitude.
Absolutely. We have to not only change our own self-perception of what aging is about, but we also have to change society's views, because we really have to have a whole cultural change around aging in this country.
We've got to have that attitude that there's something around the corner.
We've got to have a positive aspect and see aging as a natural part of life, not something to fear. And how do we change those attitudes about our own self-perceptions of aging?
The thing that you've got to ask is, are you an age disruptor like Dottie? I mean, that's what it's all about. And if you are, AARP wants to hear from you. And the way to do that is go to aarp.org/share your story, and you can really join in the conversation, because I think that if we start inspiring each other, then you hear stories like Dottie's here, and we start saying, wow, it's not over for me. I can do some different things. And take a look at this video, and it's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube or on Facebook. It's What is Old?
And the book is Disrupt Aging. I tell you what, if you read this book, it's going to change your attitude. And I used to think 60 was old until I got to be 59. And then I thought, no, not so old.